22nd year of competition, 1955. Will a fifth team join them? Stay tuned to find out as we get ready for a great game of baseball. With Pool B getting underway today, we are the second game. Italy played the first game against Hungary, and they won 15-2 in 7 innings. An absolutely dominant, really a dominant performance by all 4 of the winning teams from each of the 4 pools all around Czechia as the tournament got underway this morning at 11 a.m. local time. As we get ready for this game, Gabriel, do you have some keys to the game for us?
It will be crucial for the Swedes to show that they can mount a rally against British pitching. Conversely, Sweden is going to have to be pitching an A game, Ben Johnson on the mound, against GB with this very tough, experienced lineup. Sweden, on the other hand, has a very young lineup. Most of the players the started 9 have come up through the Swedish Academy, played in the U15 and 18-23 categories, and now graduated to the national team, some for the first time. And that inexperience relatively against Britain, which features a major leaguer, multiple players with professional experience, top prospects, and so forth, it will be crucial for Sweden to not let that inexperience get ahead of them. Whereas GB, maintaining confidence, executing the game plan, and that should be enough to make Drew Switzer happy.
Absolutely. Ryan, what are your keys to the game as the GB side takes the field?
You know, I think one thing we would watch the Hungarian game was that it was just the little errors. I think Sweden needs to play a dang near perfect game to make this competition close, both offensively and defensively. That just means errors, more mental mistakes than anything else. So got to be solid base running, and more importantly, just solid defense, playing the right guys, and try not to throw the ball around when they don't have to, especially against a veteran team like this Great Britain offense. Just trying to minimize as best you can.
Absolutely. Austin Hassani takes the mound for Great Britain. He is on his second senior national team roster, having first made the roster in 2021. He is a native of Toronto, eligible to represent Great Britain through his family, his father's side, and does have a British passport, as do all of the members of each of these teams. That is an eligibility requirement for this tournament. To get the caveat out of the way, yes, I am the press officer for Great Britain, and yes, Gabriel has experience with Great Britain, but we will try and call this game as neutrally as possible. If we do get excited, please just enjoy the ride with us, and we'll go along from there for what should be a very exciting game of baseball. We've given you the lineups, now let's give you the defensive alignment. Over to Ryan.
So the defensive alignment for Great Britain starts off with catcher Ford behind the dish. We have Ward at shortstop, Singh at second base, Christopher being the DH, Lead in right field, Sanders at first, Flaherty at third base, Dawson in left field, and Mercer in center field.
That's the defensive alignment for Great Britain as the right-handed hitting Joel Johnson steps into the plate, center fielder for Sweden. Hassani takes his little trip back behind the mound to mentally prepare himself, and we are moments away from the first game for both of these teams in the European Championships.
Joel Johnson, a veteran for the Swedish national team, and also one of the top players in their Elite Series.
Hassani prefers to work out of the stretch position, but he will wind this time and delivers the first pitch of the game. Is over the outside corner for a called strike, and we are underway. First pitch coming at 5:33 local time, and we thank you for joining us here today on BaseballEurope.tv. The 0-1 pitch misses inside, and that will bring the count to 1-1.
Johnson this year, a 325 hitter, 432 OBP, 553 slugging in Sweden. This is an MVP candidate.
He has a bit of an open stance, likes to hold the bat over the plate, swings and pops this up over towards third base, now over towards short. Shortstop Ward is under it. He will make the catch, and that is out number 1. Good play by Nick Ward to stay with that, with a little bit of Tricky Sun over in the left field side. That brings Jeff Pruitt to the plate. He is the left fielder for Sweden. One down on just 3 pitches for Hassani, and that's going to be key for him. He has primarily worked as a reliever throughout his career, has been stretched out as a starter in the Bundesliga this year. But the fewer pitches he can throw early on, the better off he'll be. First pitch here, that is off the hands and fouled back towards the Swedish dugout. And that'll roll all the way towards the trampoline area, towards right field. Not every stadium has a trampoline, but oddly enough, the last couple of stadiums I've worked in professionally have had trampolines.
Hey, the kids love trampolines.
This is grounded towards third, Flaherty up with it. Pumps, fires over to Sanders, and that is out number 2. So 5 pitches so far for Hassani, and he's gotten the first 2 outs. 5-3. That's third base to first base on the ground out. That'll bring the catcher Leo Backstrom to the plate.
Backstrom, one of Sweden's top young players. It says a lot about a player that, as a catcher, hitting number 3 in the lineup, and still a very young player, having spent 2 years in the United States with playing junior college ball.
First pitch misses inside, ball 1. As Ryan and Gabriel gave you the lineups, you did hear the name Harry Ford. He is the number 2 prospect in the Mariner system, number 39 in the MLB pipeline, as he receives a strike over the inside part of the plate to even count at 1-1. One of the best prospects to ever play in the European Championships is the 1-1 off the hands, grounded back foul up the first base side. Sun setting out towards our left from broadcast position as the field faces northwest. Hassani fires and delivers, and that is grounded up the third base line.
Bäckström, product of the Swedish Academy, which has been working overtime in the last few years and has significantly enhanced the development of baseball there. He was able to acquire a spot with Simon Perky Delta College in California, one of the very top JUCOs in the U.S., along with another Swedish teammate of his.
1-2 pitch grounded and foul once again. And we'll do that one again. Hassani mixing pitches well early on, has used the breaking pitch a couple of times, trying to work inside and outside against the batters. There will be a feeling out process. There normally is in the European Championships, depending on how much film you can watch and how much scouting information you can have. 1-2 pitch coming again. That bounces in there, and that'll even the count at 2. Waiting on deck is Tom Polic. He is the shortstop, batting in the cleanup spot for Sweden. Sweden wearing their road blues with the gold lettering and gold numbers outlined in white. Great Britain wearing their home reds, white numbers, and Great Britain written across the front. The 2-2 pitch. This is sent down the right field line, hooking foul, and onto the bullpen netting. Great Britain actually wearing the full red, white, and blue outfit today. Red tops, white pants, blue socks. If you look up the middle infield on the next shot, you'll be able to see both infielders middle infielders, I should say, have gone for the high socks. This pitch misses down low, and the count runs full. Hassani having to throw more pitches to Backstrom than either of the 2 first batters combined.
He's having himself a heck of an at-bat here.
So certainly a grinding it out would be the way to phrase it. He's had a good look. He's fouled off some tough pitches. And now he gets a full count as Hassani kicks and delivers the payoff pitch. That is check swing foul. Back behind the plate and into the Swedish dugout. So we'll do it again. 14 pitches so far for Hassani. 9 coming so far in this at-bat. Hassani winds, delivers. 10th pitch of the at-bat, misses down low, ball 4. And Backstrom will be the first base runner of the day on the 2-out walk.
be interesting to see the chemistry between the catchers and pitchers here in this tournament with forward back.
So now 2 down, runner at first base. That will bring Polish to the plate. Polish, infielder, about 24 years old.
Had a great career over 5 years for Stevens Tech, NCAA school in the Freedom Conference. 323 career header, and last season was 2022.
That pitch fouled back behind us and out of play. Lucky souvenir for one of the fans here. And there is quite a crowd here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Couldn't really ask for better weather here in Europe for baseball, especially with the late schedule for this year's European Championship. Hassani comes set, kicks and delivers. This is one hopped out towards the shortstop Ward. He flips it to second and Singh for the fielder's choice, and that retires the side. Sweden gets a base runner, but they can't advance him, and after half an inning, Sweden nothing, Great Britain coming up here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Sportovní lezení prověří každý sval. Udrží Adam Ondra formu.
Poslouchej Sport.
Radiožurnál Sport.
Welcome back to Trebridge as we head to the bottom half of the first inning. It will be Ford, Ward, and Singh due up for Great Britain, and we'll give you the defensive alignment now. Over to Ryan.
Starting with the battery, we got Ben Johnson on the mound throwing to Leo Backstrom, the fellow who just had that wicket at bat. Third base is Daniel Johnson. Shortstop is Tom Polish. Going to second base is Victor Valberg and Oscar Yerfsen at first base. In right field, Tommy Lindell. In center field, Joel Johnson. And in left field, Jeff Privet.
On the mound for Sweden will be Ben Johnson, wearing the number 2, just about the lowest number I've seen a pitcher wear. He will face Harry Ford, who last year in the World Baseball Classic qualifier hit 3 home runs in 3 games in his first ever European play. However, this is his first European championship. As mentioned, he is the Mariners' number 2 prospect and the number 39 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. And he'll be closely followed by a now Philadelphia Phillies prospect in Nick Ward. Ward picked up after the World Baseball Classic, which is even more spectacular when you realize he was playing out of position for the entire tournament. He is a natural shortstop, but at the World Baseball Classic, he was playing first base.
Great job by Ward amongst several other players on various teams to parlay a performance in the World Baseball Classic as a minor leaguer and indie leaguer into an affiliated contract. It's always good to see the effort that guys put in to do that and then being rewarded with that is pretty special.
Absolutely, Gabriel. Now Harry Ford will step in from the right side. He was named to the All-Star Futures game during his minor league season, which he spent with the Everett Aqua Sox in the Mariners organization. Same organization with Brad Marcelino, who is the hitting coach at AAA Tacoma, as the first pitch misses ball 1.
Ford had a great season for the high Northwest League Everett team. Only 20 years old, he was 2.5 years younger than anyone else, but still hit 257, but 410 OBP, 430 slugging. Very impressive numbers for a young catcher.
Johnson working quickly and out of the set position, and he uses the breaking ball to even count at 1-1. So that looped over the outside part of the plate.
Johnson had a great year in the Elite Series in Sweden, 8-0 with a 1.47 ERA. 43 innings, allowed only 32 hits, 7 walks, and 47 Ks. So Sweden is coming off the GB with its ace.
1-1 pitch is popped up on the infield. Now into foul territory. It drifts. Over is Jerfson, and he will make the catch. So Harry Ford retired for out number 1. That will bring Nick Ward to the plate, one of the very few left-handed batters. In fact, the only natural left-handed batter in the GB lineup today. There are 2 switch hitters in Nashawn Thomas, who starts the game on the bench, and Chamoy Christopher batting cleanup.
Ward over 2 leagues with the Phillies, Jersey Shore of the Sally League, High A, and Reading Double A. Had a strong season, 256, 373 OBP, 362 slugging.
He lines this one right back up the middle, and that is a base hit, first hit of the game for either side. And Nick Ward has himself a single on the first pitch he sees of this championship tournament.
Yeah, he saw that fastball down and in, and then was able to keep his hands inside of it, not roll it over or pop it up. Great piece of hitting right there from the 2-hitter.
So Ward now at first. He does have some speed. And Aaron Singh will bat. Singh was a breakout performer at the 2021 edition of these games. Offensive leader for Great Britain in multiple categories. He'll now bat from the right side and have an opportunity to get some damage done early. Johnson delivers. Breaking ball in there for a strike.
Ward at first base swiped 28 bags this season, only caught 3 times, and in his career, a very impressive base stealing.
0-1 the count. Johnson coming to the set position slowly. Start and stop moves Nick Ward, and another breaking ball is in there for a strike, and Singh finds himself in an 0-2 hole.
I'm curious how this is going to play out for the starting pitcher Johnson. How many breaking balls is going to be too many breaking balls?
It does seem to be tempting fate a little bit to see this many breaking balls to the first couple of batters of the game. Can be a sign of a lack of confidence in the fastball, but we'll see if he uses it here. And he does, just misses high, ball 1.
See, if he sequences it like that, down, top of the zone with the fastball, that's just tough to hit, no matter who you are.
It's going to be very tough to hit those different looks. That's what has made Johnson successful. It's not the hardest thrower you will find, but he has located well so far in this one. It is a small sample size, to be fair.
As Chris indicated, last time in the Euros, led the team in hits 10, doubles 5.
This grounded towards third, could be 2. Over to second for 1. They will not get both, as Singh able to beat the throw, which was offline anyway. So Ward is retired on the fielder's choice. And the out goes 5-4. That is third base to second base for those of you scoring at home. That brings the power-hitting Chamoy Christopher to the plate. He spent this year with the Sioux Falls Canaries. This is his second time being named to a European Championship roster, third time overall being named to a Great Britain roster, as he was on the qualifier roster last year. Native of the British Virgin Islands, in fact, the second ever player from the British Virgin Islands to represent Great Britain at the senior level. First pitch to him misses high and outside, ball 1. Christopher is a power threat from both sides of the plate, one of the 2 switch hitters in this Great Britain roster. He has a slightly open stance, waits as long as possible before uncorking a powerful swing. Johnson sets and deals. This is fouled off the shin guard. Christopher will take a walk to get rid of the sting of that one.
Christopher has demonstrated plenty of power in his 3 years in Independent League Bowl, 14 home runs over the course of roughly a season's worth of appearances as a regular catcher for Sioux Falls. He was a great collegiate hitter at Tennessee Wesleyan, only almost walking distance from where I went to university in East Tennessee. I was at the University. Tennessee Wesleyan was one of the main rivals of the Lee University Flames, and over 3 years there, Chamoy hit 295, slugged 542, so it gives you an idea of his power.
Zing does have a little bit of speed at first, but not the base-stealing threat that Nick Ward is. Johnson delivers as it's fouled straight back. 1-2 to count. As mentioned, Christopher, the second ever player from the British Virgin Islands to represent Great Britain, the first nation on Thomas, also on this roster. In fact, there are 5 players from the British Virgin Islands and 6 from British Overseas Territories, which we'll tell you about after this pitch. Coming to the set position is Johnson. A further lead for Singh at first. Johnson kicks and delivers, and it's popped up on the infield. The shortstop, Hollage, calls everyone off. He'll make the catch behind the mound, and that will retire the side. Each team gets a base runner. Each team leaves them stranded after 1 inning of play. Sweden nothing, Great Britain nothing, here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Na jednom místě. eSport.cz, sponzor pořadu.
Tisíc sdílených aut Car4Way k půjčení v ulicích Prahy a Brna. Stačí ti k tomu jenom mobil. To je Car4Way Car Sharing. Sponzor pořadu.
Top half of the second inning here on BaseballEurope.tv. Great Britain nothing, Sweden nothing. Neither team able to score in that first inning of play, despite a base runner for both. While we have a moment here, let's give you the scores from around the rest of the European Championships. Over to you, Gabriel.
There was a thriller occurring between France and the Netherlands, totally top of the second, but scoreless first inning. And I say thriller more predictively than I do rather than what we can say from 1 inning. But that's a game to watch, as is the other game that is live right now, Germany and Belgium. Germany taking a 3-0 lead against its neighbor, Belgium's only 3-1.
As we head into the top half of the second here, no score. Daniel Johnson will lead things off, the third baseman for Sweden. He'll bat from the right side. It will be Johnson, Gasler, and that would be Jerfson. Having a little bit of a moment there. Don't worry about it.
Before the game, I drilled into all of us.
This is sent out towards left center field. It will get down. Overrunning it is Mercer, and headed for second base is Johnson. He is in there safely.
Took a real hard slide into second base, but that off the bat, thinking double. Hustle.
Absolutely. He was thinking double all the way. Mercer sliding a little bit past that really didn't have much of an effect on the play. That was going to be 2 bags, and that's exactly what Johnson wanted. So now a leadoff double, first hit for Sweden. And that will bring up their designated hitter.
That is Phil Geisler, coming up with a runner in scoring position.
Geisler, a left-handed batter. Hassani checks the runner at second, now delivers to the plate. First pitch over the outside corner for a called strike.
Geisler plays for the Sundbyberg Heat, and although he only hit 172 this year, he had 7 home runs amongst his 15 hits, giving him a 414 slugging. So plenty of swing and miss, 26 strikeouts and 87 at-bats. 3 true outcomes kind of player.
The 0-1 pitch misses outside. 1-1 the count. We'll see if Great Britain changes things up here with a runner at second base. The first time either of these teams have had an opportunity to take a look at each other's signs. And there's always a little bit of gamesmanship in a tournament like this, especially 1-1, where every game matters. 1-1 pitch is in there for a strike, well framed by Harry Ford, and the count now 1-2.
That's going to play a huge part in this game, is how well he receives, especially for the umpire Richter back there.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Runner leads off second, being shadowed by Ward. Ward takes a couple steps away from the bag, and Hassani deals to the plate. Swung on and missed in the dirt. Harry Ford will fire over to Sanders at first. That's the first strikeout of the game for either side, and the out goes 2-3. That's catcher to first baseman. So now 1 down for Yerfson. Now, I say Yerfson, but it is one of the Yerfsons. This is Oscar. Oli is on the bench to start the game.
This reflects their regular season position with the Raidwood Butchers. Oscar, regular member of that starting lineup, and did extremely well this year. 377 hitter, 471 OBP, 491 slugging. Another solid hitter in this lineup.
So Yerfson stands in from the right side, first baseman for the Swedish team. Sani checks the runner at second. Now Singh back to his regular position. And that's in there for a strike. Again, well framed by Harry Ford. And as Ryan said, that is going to be a key factor, and it happens to be one of Harry Ford's specialties behind the plate. Ford is a very good receiver at a young age, only 20 years old. But he made quite the impact both in the World Baseball Classic qualifier and at the Classic itself. Swung on and missed as Hassani gets Jerfson to chase.
Jefferson, one of the Swedish Academy products, only 22 years old, and being followed in the lineup by someone even younger, that's Victor Wahlberg, up next, only 18 years old. Very young Swedish team.
Hassani delivers, breaking ball, chopped foul on the third base side. That actually had a decent amount of backspin on it. Ends up spinning all the way out to Kennard Dawson, who's playing about straightaway center, or straightaway left field, I should say. Count 1-2. Hassani comes set. Takes a long look at the runner, now delivers to the plate. This is popped up over towards second base. Singh has it easily, and that will be the second out of the inning.
Tough at bat there for Oscar. I think he saw 5 straight breaking balls right there, and all at the bottom of the zone. The one he hung, he actually hammered pretty good down the line, but that's a tough at bat.
Very tough at bat, and almost as what we were talking about with the starter for Sweden, Ben Johnson. He was going with the breaking ball. Hassani there decided to go with several consecutive breaking balls as well. He's got a curveball and a slider. We'll see what he delivers here. First pitch foul back towards us. Out of play, Victor Wahlberg.
Wahlberg hit 282 this year, 383 on base percentage, 423 slugging.
Runner still in scoring position. That's where Daniel Johnson ended up with no outs. He's still there with 2 outs as this pitch misses inside. Gets away from Harry Ford for a second, but he recovers quite quickly. Light beginning to fade a little bit here as the stadium lights come on. Cloud cover so far blocking the sun a little bit, making it a little bit darker than perhaps it normally would be at 6 o'clock in the evening. Hassani comes set, the 1-1 pitch over the outside corner for a called strike. So far in this one, Hassani has been locating quite well. He's been moving back and forth across the plate as needed. One ball, 2 strikes, runner still at second, 2 down. Hassani's thrown 31 pitches so far in this one, and the 32nd pitch in this game misses down low and in the dirt. Blocked well by Harry Ford. That will leave the count at 2.
Love to see just keep chipping away from the young man here at the plate. Find more pitches, see more pitches. It's going to help him later on in this game.
With 2 down, both of the batters so far have had good at-bats. Backstrom in the first inning had the 10-pitch at-bat. And now Wahlberg has worked himself into a 2-2 count. A 2-2 pitch coming, and it's over Wahlberg's head. That will bring the count full. On deck, the number 9 hitter, Tommy Lindell, right fielder for this Swedish team. He'll bat if Wahlberg can extend the inning. Hassani checks the runner at second. Comes set, the payoff pitch is in on the hands and a foul ball. That hit just off the knob, the end of the bat.
Another long inning for Hassani on the mound. First inning through 17 pitches, 10 of them, of course, to Bäckström, and then another 17 this inning again.
And that was going to be key for him. Again, mentioning that Hassani has spent most of his career as a reliever. He is stretched out at the moment, but he's had to work quite hard through these first 2 frames. And in just an inning and two-thirds, he's thrown those 34 pitches. Hassani is ready to go on the plate. Back into the batter's box is Wahlberg. Ford gives Hassani the sign. He'll check the runner at second. And the payoff pitch again. This is fouled right back towards us into the screen. And again, a very good at-bat with 2 outs for Victor Wahlberg.
This is probably best case scenario right here. 2 outs, grinding again, grinding out this whole at-bat, just make him throw more pitches, get to that bullpen.
Certainly, the Swedish team seems to have quite a bit of patience early on, and that is going to work in their favor. Bullpens are not as deep as they might be in longer tournaments. This payoff pitch is grounded out towards the gap between second and first. It will make right field. Up and throwing is wide, and he's got him!
Wow.
What a play! Tag applied by Harry Ford. And that was a brilliant play by Ben Lee to get the runner at the plate on the single by Wahlberg, who had a great at-bat. We head to the bottom half of the second inning. The score, Sweden 0, Great Britain 0, here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Jenom na místě. eSport.cz, sponzor pořadu.
Tisíc sdílených aut Carforway k půjčení v ulicích Prahy a Brna. Stačí ti k tomu jenom mobil. To je Carforway Car Sharing, sponzor pořadu.
Bottom half of the second inning. Still scoreless in this one between Sweden and Great Britain. Chris Knobloch joined by Gabriel Fiddler and Ryan Johnson. And that play to end the bottom of the second inning was something else, with Ben Lee throwing out Johnson at the plate. Gabriel, Brian, you both saw this play. He didn't think that Johnson was out of position. We didn't think he was slow. It was just a spectacularly well-timed play.
I mean, that throw right to home plate was a perfect one-hop, right to the catcher, bang, bang, tag. I mean, you really can't ask for a better defensive throw from an outfielder.
That's one of those sort of plays that completely changes the momentum in the game. The Swedes felt quite rightly like they had pushed Hassani pretty well, and finally the big hit to deliver. And, well, it was a big hit, just not long enough.
And as often the case, and as Gabriel mentioned during our break, the man who made the play will lead things off. And that's just a little bit too punny for my liking, as the first pitch is in there for a strike, as it is Ben Lead at the plate. Another right-handed batter for Great Britain. Lead, also a member of the U23 roster, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. as the breaking pitch doesn't break, and that'll even the count at 1.
Great season for Lead at Central Washington University. That's in the Great Northwest Conference. Hit 339, 405, 484 across that slash line, playing as a catcher for Central Washington. Only in his second year with the University Wildcats.
Pitch missing outside, 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Lead on his first senior roster for Great Britain. As coming set now is Johnson. Then delivers, and this is fouled back towards the Swedish dugout to even the count at 2.
It seems like Great Britain sure has a lot of catchers. That's correct.
3 catchers on the roster. Indeed, there's Pritchard, Christopher, and Ford. Kennard Dawson happens to be the 4th, although he's playing the outfield today. We do have a deep catching bench.
And in a pinch, it would appear Lead could be added to that list, though obviously not under discussion given your phase-up.
Lead strikes out looking as he gets fooled on the breaking pitch. That will be 1 out. That just curled over the outside corner, well framed by Backstrom, the catcher, as well.
Yeah, great curveball. Sticking to the script, right? Hey, bangers when we need them around the strike zone. It's going to open that thing up pretty quick. You'll see a lot more swings and misses here soon with that pitch.
That brings Julian Sanders to the plate. First at bat for him as a member of the senior team, and nearly gets hit by that one. And again back to the breaking ball. 1-0. Sanders playing over at first base for today's contest. He is also a pitcher. 22 years old.
He had a heck of a season for Claremont Muds Rips in the Southern California Intercollegiate Association, which I'll tell you more about in a moment.
Up 2-0 the count. So far, 19 pitches for Johnson. It's been relatively economical compared to his counterpart as Sanders gets hit square in the back, wearing the number 19, and that hit the gap in the 9. So that will be the second base runner.
Things
GB.
Things you hate to see: pitcher shaking off from a pitch and then plunking the guy with it.
Very, very true. And I will say that looked like a curveball that slipped. So that's not gonna leave the most painful bruise. As Sanders now takes a decent-sized lead off first with Michael Flaherty, another member of the U23 roster, coming up to the plate. First pitch again, the breaking ball, and this is over for a strike.
Flaherty, an infielder who was developed in the UK and is playing for Grinnell College in the Midwest Conference. Also suited up this summer for Newark in the Perfect Game Collegiate League, which is a really high-quality league for underclassmen at the university level during the summer.
Second pitch of the at-bat missed outside to even the count at 1. Again, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And just as you said, Ryan, there is a very clear plan, and Sweden is trying to stick to it. I wonder if Great Britain will attempt to steal to put pressure on the fastball as that pitch misses outside, and that was the fastball. 2-1 the count.
That's a great point about the base running game, those breaking balls. It looks like a pretty hard slider from the side here, just from our view, but definitely ball and dirt reads absolutely.
Stepping off is Johnson as he didn't get the sign he liked. Have been a couple of miscommunications between Johnson and Backstrom in this inning, one leading to that hit by pitch, now a second wave off. Something to keep an eye on as this game progresses. We are only in the bottom half of the second. Johnson comes set, slide steps, and delivers. Goes for the off-speed pitch and gets a swing and miss from Flaherty as he pulled the string, and that was a beautiful pitch.
Sliders and hitter counts. That's why I have trust issues.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Over at first base, Sanders with a decent-sized lead, almost to the edge of the cutout. Coming set is Johnson. And off is Sanders, stepping off is Johnson. He'll flip the ball to second, and out is Sanders. Sanders had a very, very early jump and was clearly meant to go with the pitch, but Johnson didn't deliver when he expected.
So it's a perfect candidate for a pick him off, punch him out right here. Let's see what happens here in this 2-2 count.
The out goes pitcher to second base. Now there are 2 down in the inning. Flaherty still has a 2-2 count. Johnson, a long look in, comes to the set position. Flaherty waits at the plate, wiggling the bat. The pitch. Foul back, and we'll do that one again. Looks like that caught a piece of Backstrom's elbow. So he gives it a quick rub, and the Swedish athletic trainer out quickly, or no, just a coach to deliver some new balls.
It was quite a season for Flaherty this year. He suited up in the spring for Grinnell, played in 22 games for the Pioneers. He then came back to England, suited up in a doubleheader for the London Mets, who would later go on to win the National League, went 5 for 7 in those games, and then returned to the U.S. to play for Newark, hitting .330 the rest of the summer. So lots of different experience for him this year.
Johnson delivers, and that pitch misses inside. Looked like he went to the breaking ball again, and the count runs full. Waiting on deck is Kennard Dawson. And Dawson can cause quite a few problems, both at the plate and on the base paths. Would probably rather deal with him without anyone on. Johnson delivers again, swung on and missed. Back to the breaking ball goes Johnson, and he gets Flaherty. 2 strikeouts in the inning as working around the hit batter is Johnson. And after 2 full innings of play, Sweden nothing, Great Britain nothing, here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Tam je život. Ty je kyslík, tam se dýchá.
Nastartuj smysly!
Stares. Pečujeme o brněnská sportoviště.
Česká baseballová asociace srdečně děkuje všem svým partnerům za podporu Eurobaseballu 2023 v České republice.
Čeští baseballisté budou od neděle 24. září bojovat na domácí půdě o titul mistrů Evropy.
Makat a nedívat se na všechny kolem sebe.
Ten baseball u nás není tak známý a normálně jsem jako fakt hrdý a šťastný.
Všechny české zápasy a vyvrcholení turnaje můžete sledovat živě na ČT Sport a ČT Sport Plus.
Top half of the 3rd inning, Sweden nothing, Great Britain nothing in this first game for both sides of Pool B at the European Championships, hosted by the Czech Republic, Czechia, as it is now more commonly known. As Austin Hassani back out for his 3rd inning of work.
Ryan, do you feel like the Czechs are very happy that it has now become Czechia in English, or is there any impression at all?
You know, it's so funny. I was going to say something about that. I have actually, so people in Canada, like my friends and family, say it's Czechia. They refer to it as Czechia. But I've never once heard a Czech person say Czechia. I don't think. So I just kind of flip between Czechia, Czech Republic, and Czech. Český Republicky? No. The Republika, yeah.
Czech lessons will be after the 3rd and 6th innings for those who want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Tommy Lindell leads things off here as Hassani kicks and delivers. First pitch of the 3rd inning is over for a strike as Lindell was showing the bunt. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters, Lindell, Joel Johnson, and Jeff Pruitt, as Hassani will see the order for the 2nd time here. Tommy Lindell, the right fielder for the Swedish team, as Hassani winds and deals. This is sent out towards left field. Taking a couple steps to his right is Kennard Dawson. He will make the catch, and that is out number 1. Easy play for Kennard Dawson. And there's one down quickly, and that's what Hassani needs here in order to extend his outing. Top of the order now, due up Joel Johnson. He popped out to the shortstop Nick Ward in his first at-bat. Lead off this contest and to start off the tournament for both sides. First pitch is a breaking ball down low. Ball one as that hit the dirt and bounced off the knee pads of Harry Ford.
Joel Johnson, as with his brothers, representing Reykjavik Butchers, one of Sweden's annually highest rated teams. Had a great year this year, as I mentioned in the first inning, 325, slugged 553.
1-0 pitch. Misses, and count now 2-0. Hassani using a few more breaking pitches than he may have during the first time through the order. We'll see how that progresses as these batters take a second look at him. This is lined right to the third baseman. Flaherty's got it, and that is out number 2. Flaherty had to take a step to his right and easily made that catch. It was very soft liner. It looked like it may have been hit off the top half of the bat, and that's 2 quick outs for Austin Hassani. That brings Jeff Pruitt to the plate. He grounded out to third base in his first at-bat. Hassani winds, kicks, and deals. And this is sent out towards right field. Glide is on it, and he will get to it, but headed for second base is Pruitt. And then Lee tracks that one down, gets that back in, but another double for Sweden. Their second extra base hit of the game. And second double.
More 2-out trouble here. More 2-out trouble for Hassani.
Hassani cannot get the quick inning so far. With 2 outs in the first, he issued the walker in the 10-pitch at-bat. With 2 outs in the second, he faced Wahlberg in a very tough at-bat. And the only reason he got out of that was because of Ben Lead and his great throw from right to cut down the runner at the plate, Daniel Johnson. So runner at second, 2 down. The catcher Leo Backstrom up, first pitch to him. This is low and away, ball 1.
This is definitely a batter that he doesn't want to go around with, especially considering how many pitches he saw last time. I imagine they're gonna want to go right after him this time.
43 pitches so far for Hassani. He's been relatively economical so far in this inning, but again, the 2-out trouble, as Ryan mentioned. And this pitch, well framed by Harry Ford. That is a strike. So that looked like it was right on the border, but a good frame by Harry Ford, even to the count at 1. Hassani comes set. Runner at second base takes a decent lead. Chopped foul into the GB dugout. Count now 1-2.
Great inside slider right there. Really just kept him off balance. Things looked like a strike, and then it just disappeared. Almost ended up at his back foot right there. He has so many options available to him right now with pitch selection.
Hassani has been mixing pitches well this inning. Yes, he allowed the double, but it looks like they're going to give the Swedish batters a different look every time they come up. The 1-2 pitch. Chopped foul. As that hits off the plate, goes straight back. So Hassani will have to deliver that pitch again.
2 breaking balls down. I imagine they're going to want to elevate with something here, try to get him to chase. Especially in a 1-2 count, they have pitches to burn, first base open. Yeah.
I would tend to agree with you, Ryan. Let's see what happens here. Hassani comes set, checks the runner at second, and delivers a fastball in on the hands, yet chopped foul. It was a good piece of hitting by Backstrom to keep that at bat alive. If he had made contact with that, it wasn't going anywhere. Hassani going with the inside and high fastball, just not a hugely elevated fastball there. See if he tries it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Runner at second, 2 down. No score in the top half of the third inning. Hassani kicks and delivers and misses inside. 2-2 the count.
Another great at-bat.
Backstrom has so far in this one seen 15 pitches in the first 3 innings. Hassani comes set again. Runner at second with a short lead. The 2-2. In on the hand, popped up foul. Sanders is ranging to his left. He will make the catch in foul territory, and the side is retired. Another double for Sweden, but they cannot advance the runner. They certainly cannot score, and after 2.5 innings of play, 0-0 between Great Britain and Sweden here at the European Baseball Championships on BaseballEurope.tv.
Suma Information Technology. Česká baseballová asociace srdečně děkuje všem svým partnerům za podporu Eurobaseballu 2023 v České republice.
Odchází vám stroje? Neplačte. V Bauhausu na ně máme 5letou záruku. Bauhaus, když se to má podařit.
Bottom half of the third inning here in Trebich, as Great Britain will bat here. No score in this one. While we have a moment, we'll give you a scoreboard update. Over to Ryan.
Oh boy, I'm honored. All right, so we're looking left to right here. Austria versus Czechia. That game just started. Pretty exciting stuff, though. I believe Czechia is hitting right now. Runners on first and second, none out. Let's hope they, a hometown crowd. Hoping they can cash in here for the fans. France, Netherlands. That's a nail biter in the bottom of the third. 0-0 we're looking at here. I think you were saying before, Gabriel, that that's a game to watch. And it's looking like it's pretty exciting over there. And German, Belgium, 3-0. Belgium at the bat, first and second, 2 out. So hopefully something could come from that. It'll be fun to see.
It's always more fun when games like this are close, and inevitably there's going to be the odd blowout. But as we've seen here, between these two teams separated in the international rankings, but on the field, pretty close.
Johnson back on the mound. He will deal with Dawson, Mercer, and Ford. First pitch to Dawson. Misses for ball one. Kennard Dawson, another member of this team from the British Virgin Islands, the third ever member of Great Britain's roster from the islands. Ray Mercer, who's on deck, another member of the BVI contingent here. This count now even at 1-1. As mentioned a couple of innings ago, there is quite a contingent from the British Overseas Territories. 5 players from the British Virgin Islands, including Dawson, Thomas, Chamoy Christopher, Demoy Hodge, and Ray Mercer, and another from the Cayman Islands in Chris Messer. With a few teams in Europe able to call on players from beyond their shores, Great Britain certainly taking advantage of that, especially under the tenure of Drew Spencer. 2-1 the count. Johnson comes set. He delivers off the slide step and gets the swing and the miss on the breaking ball low and outside. Now leaving the count at 2 as he pulled the string.
We always say never 4 times, and then here he is, never 5 times.
Dawson had a great year after transferring to Bridget Parker, an NAIA school in the top Southern States Athletic Conference. 312 hitter, 465 slugging.
This is chopped out in front of the plate. Up with it is the pitcher. His throw is a light looping throw, and called out is Dawson. Dawson, a very speedy outfielder catcher, I should say. And it looks like that throw was going to be late, as Ben Johnson did not put a lot of mustard on that one, to say the least. But it gets Dawson by a step.
Love the athleticism from Yerfson over there. That was awesome. The way he exchanged feet on the other side of the bag. Yeah, that was awesome. Good play.
So 1 down. That brings Ray Mercer to the plate. Ray Andre from the British Virgin Islands, as mentioned, also a member of the U23 team. He actually set the record for triples this year, I believe it was, at Polk State with 10. Very, very quick outfielder, batting out of the 9 spot. 1-0 the count. Coming set is Johnson. He delivers, and that's called a strike. Well framed by Backstrom. Bring that one back.
So you look at a guy who has 10 triples, you said, and that does. So you don't hit triples to left field as a right-handed hitter. You know, he's putting that thing in the right center gap, right field line. He must stay inside that ball so well.
An incredible season. 10 doubles, 10 triples, 290 average for the young hitter. 22 stolen bases as well.
He takes that pitch out on the outside corner, I should say, for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. With Harry Ford waiting on deck, Hershey would love nothing more than to give him an opportunity at an RBI. And with Ford's power, it could easily be 2. This is out in front of the plate. Pitcher is up with it. He fires to first. Johnson over to Björfsen yet again. And that is the second out. Great Britain quickly retired there. This was a little bit of a check swing, almost a half bunt by Mercer. He was trying to beat that one out.
Put a bit more mustard on that throw this time, too.
Yes, I think that was a very, very clear intention that time of what Ben Johnson was trying to do.
Yeah, never twice.
Yep, absolutely. And now Harry Ford steps in. He fouled out to Björfsen in the first inning, leading off the Great Britain half. Johnson comes set. This is on a hop to short. As he almost had it on the line, the throw is in time across the diamond. Harry Ford retired on the first pitch he sees. The out goes 6-3, shortstop to first base. We're through 3 innings here, and there's no score between Sweden and Great Britain here at Pool B of the European Baseball Championships on BaseballEurope.tv.
Svého cíle můžete plnit sny i ostatním. Stačí si stáhnout aplikaci App Pomáhej pohybem od skupiny ČES.
Pomáhej, starší! A nepovyšuj se nad mixer!
Odchází vám stroje? Neplačte. V Bauhausu na ně máme 5letou záruku.
Top half of the 4th inning, Austin Hassani back out on the mound for Great Britain. No score between Sweden and GB. Chris Knobloch joined by Gabriel Fiddler and Ryan Johnson. And you would have noticed a few interesting accents, let's say, on the broadcast today. We have one English accent that belongs to Gabriel, my American accent, which of course belongs to me, and then Ryan, of course, comes from what I would refer to as the Great White North of Canada.
Represent, man.
But it's a very interesting story you have, Ryan, about your experience here in Czechia, if you can tell us a little bit about that.
I came over here in 2020 for a baseball tournament, the Prague Baseball Week, 42 years going on now, and I saw just the national teams, and I saw the fields, and I went, I want to play here next. I'm going to come back to Yerbal, I'm going to play in Czech, and I loved it ever since, and I've been lucky enough to get amazing opportunities to stay here, and now I'm looking to stay here forever if I can. It's just been an amazing ride so far.
Fantastic to hear, and it's always great to hear about these baseball journeys that are, let's call them unconventional, and we can talk a little bit more about that later as Hassani delivers a strike, using the fastball there to get ahead of Tom Pollage. It's Pollage, Daniel Johnson, and Phil Gasler due up here in the 4th inning. Hassani working a bit faster now, misses inside 1-1, and that may be one of the changes he makes here, is to change his pacing in order to keep these batters off balance.
Hassani had been notably deliberate over the course of much of his time. It did increase pace, I think.
1-1 pitch down the right field line. Over is Ben Lead. He cannot make the catch. It's the one area of the ballpark we cannot see, but the umpire, first base umpire, Alex Lazaro, on that one quickly. And we'll do it again as the count 1 and 2 to Polish. The sun setting here over left field. A little bit of glare facing the plate might come into play for the catchers, although it does look like it'll fall behind the batting cages, the indoor batting cages, down the left field line. Won't be a factor certainly for the fielders other than the catchers. That breaking pitch misses inside, 2 and 2 the count. So the slider went down, but stayed too far in.
It's definitely a home field advantage thing when that sun during the summer. It sets right behind left center field and lefties cannot see anything.
This is sent on a hop out to left field. It'll get down for a base hit. Dawson fires it back to the infield, but the third hit for Sweden, this time it's a single. Their fourth hit, I should say. Second single of the game, and Polish is on for the first time as he hit into a fielder's choice to end the first inning. That brings Daniel Johnson to the plate. He doubled in his first at-bat and then was thrown out at the plate by Ben Lead on a bang-bang play. Great throw by Lead, who came out of nowhere to grab the ball, fired a strike, a one-hopper to Harry Ford, who applied the tag. Sani comes set with a short lead off first. Pitch misses down low, ball 1.
Johnson, one of the top power threats in the lineup, along with his brothers playing for the Raving Butchers. 363 average this year, whopping 637 slugging percentage.
You were able to tell from that double he hit to right center before. That ball was smashed. Really good backspin on it, too.
I'll check on the runner, who's back standing.
I was wondering maybe if they're going to play a bit of small ball here, moving in scoring position, but with the Johnson at the dish right now, I just can't imagine that they're going to swing away. I think he's going to stay with that same approach to go to right center again.
Now Hassani and Ford can't get on the same page, and that will be the first mound visit we've had from either side here, as Ford will go out and talk to Hassani. Ford, although he is only 20 years old, is quite a good game caller. We've mentioned his framing during today's game. And a lot of very veteran pitchers, particularly in the World Baseball Classic, were very comfortable throwing to Harry Ford, which is really a sign of his status within the game. The 39th prospect in Major League Baseball. It doesn't mean it's a sure thing, but it is certainly, from what we've seen in Europe alone, that Harry Ford could be a superstar in this game.
Definitely something that's not talked about enough is how the catcher is not only just a physical person, but a mental person. He's a field commander, so to speak. Personalities, he has to know everyone, get along with the boys, make them feel comfortable.
Ford back behind the plate. Hassani working quickly. This is popped out towards left field. Giving chase is Flaherty, but that will make the seats. Actually ends up on the roof. And that will be strike 1. As that sent the entire left side of the Great Britain field in Flaherty, Ward, and Dawson greening towards the left field barrier.
I think Johnson knows what he's looking for. He's looking to do some damage here on the inner half of the plate. I think he just caught a changeup there a little bit out front. But yeah, he's looking to smash a baseball here. A little bit too early on that changeup.
We'll see if Hassani can still keep him off balance. A very short lead over at first base by Polish, who's not exactly a base-stealing threat. Coming set is Hassani. He doesn't look over and delivers to the plate. Well framed again by Harry Ford, as that is strike 2, using the slider there.
Great 2-1 pitch. Great 2-1 pitch. Just caught the outer half of the outer corner of the plate.
Hassani comes set down by the belt, raises the glove up, blocks, kicks, and delivers. Swung on and missed, as he gets the strikeout on the ball outside and in the dirt. Going chasing is Johnson. That is the second strikeout for Hassani. And the other man that he struck out now comes to the plate in Gasler. Gasler struck out on a ball in the dirt. Thrown out by Harry Ford over to Julian Sanders at first. Now one down in the inning, and the runner still at first base.
The Swedes are going to have to move this runner over here. Find any way you can.
They have had very good at-bats. This is foul back behind us so far in this game. They've been able to execute their game plan. They've gotten Hassani to work. They've gotten a lot of tough pitches that they've been able to foul off. They've been waiting for their pitch. Hassani, through 3 1/3 innings, is about to throw his 60th pitch. So that does mean that GB will have to dip into the bullpen early, which has a huge factor on the tournament, if not this game. Obviously, the bullpen fully rested at the moment. Pitch from Hassani just misses, and the count now 1-1.
Geisler's stance reminds me of something akin to a Lions Berkman up there. Wide open stance, right foot way back against the outside of the box, and looking to drive, which is what he's done in the LA series.
Big swing and a miss as he corkscrews into the ground there. Count now 1-2. That was probably one of the hardest fastballs we've seen so far today from Hassani. Good sign for, again, someone who has spent most of his career as reliever. He is stretched out at the moment. He can start, and he clearly has today. But nice to see some late life on that fastball after 62 pitches. The 63rd pitch of the game swung on and missed. And that will be out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hassani.
Yeah, great sequence right there. Just gave him the heat, and then pulled the string on him with a great changeup at the bottom of the zone. That's, perfectly executed changeup with 2 strikes.
And this would be what I would say is the first time that Hassani has been able to execute his game the way that he wants. Yes, Sweden has been working these good at-bats, but that sequence was just the way that he would have written that down, especially getting that swing and the miss to end it. Now he deals with Yerfsen, Oscar Yerfsen. He popped out to second in his first at-bat and takes strike 1 over the outside corner.
Yeah, Yerfsen's looking for a bit of redemption here after last time, but he got a healthy dose of breaking balls. I think he had 5 straight last at-bat, so tough to change mentality.
Runner takes an extra step off the first base bag, and Hassani snaps a throw over there. And easily backstanding is Pollage. Hassani now working much faster. Comes set, takes a longer pause, kicks and deals. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1 the count.
I want to believe that Oscar's got a good handle on that breaking ball by now, so hopefully he won't go fishing down at the bottom of the zone.
I wouldn't be shocked here if we saw a steady diet of fastballs from Hassani, but then again, he does trust his off-speed stuff. That pitch misses outside, snap throw to first, runner back with a dive. Harry Ford will try that every so often. He has had some decent success. Has thrown out a few runners in Europe so far, which is pretty decent when you consider this is his 4th game that he's played on the continent.
That was a heck of a pick by Saunders over at first base, too. That was an in-between hop on the grass. It's a bit wet. I don't know. That saves the runner from going to second base.
That was some stellar defensive play, and as you both mentioned in the pregame, it is the little things that make all the difference in a tournament that is 6 or 7 games. It's a play like that that keeps you in it. This pitch in on the hands, popped up towards short. Nick Ward calls everyone off. He'll make the catch, and the side is retired. A leadoff single for Sweden, but no advance for the runner, and after 3.5 innings of play, the score, 0-0 between Great Britain and Sweden here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Zase jednou někam vyrazit. Ale sama. Kdykoliv se mi bude chtít. Nebýt v pohybu jen díky ostatním. To bych si přála. To je můj cíl.
A máš to tam.
Dosažením svého cíle splníte sny ostatním. Každou vaši aktivitu proměníme ve finanční podporu těm, co ji potřebují. Jsme s vámi. Skupina ČES.
the fourth inning, scoreless in this one between Sweden and Great Britain. Pool B of the 2023 European Baseball Championships. Ben Johnson back out on the mound for Sweden as they finish their defensive work. The throw down from Backstrom to the waiting Polish. And we are ready to go. It'll be Ward, Singh, and Christopher, the 2-3-4 hitters for Great Britain. As GB has so far only had a single. That came from Nick Ward in that first inning. They went down in order last frame. Sweden, meanwhile, has out-hit Great Britain to this point by a margin of 4-1. Johnson comes set. Ward, left-handed batter, open stance. And first pitch misses high and outside for ball one.
An interesting shift from the infield right here. Pretty pull-heavy.
Very pull-heavy. The third baseman playing where the shortstop normally would. Shortstop back almost dead center behind the second base bag. And the second baseman playing shallow right field, more so than an infield position. As the count now even at 1-1. Strike delivered there by Johnson.
I love that shift, honestly, with the amount of breaking balls that Ben Johnson's throwing. Absolutely.
It's almost an innovative form of the former shift where you overloaded on the right side of the infield. It's fascinating. I think it could be quite useful for the Swedish team, especially with giving these limited left-handed options, two switch hitters and the lefty Nick Ward.
I don't know if all of Europe has really gotten behind super stacking on one side of the infield, but the shifting up the middle and then taking away the hole a bit more is definitely something that's been prevalent that I've seen.
Polish takes another couple of steps. He is almost directly behind the pitcher's mound as the count runs to 3-1. And with a batter of Nick Ward's caliber at the plate, I would expect Drew Spencer would give him the green light. Ward, who finished up his season in Double-A with the Reading Fightin' Phils, waits for the 3-1 pitch, and Johnson obliges. That pitch misses outside, ball 4. So Ward's now been on twice. He's accounted for 2/3 of Britain's base runners, and a leadoff runner on for the home side.
Leadoff walks are killer. Let's hope that a ground ball or something here from the Swedish side. Maybe it's a double play, but it's going to be tough.
Especially with Aaron Singh up at the plate. He outran a double play in the first inning, reaching on the fielder's choice before Shmoy Christopher popped out. Singh now with nobody out. And Ward, as mentioned before, a good base runner over at first base. Pitch misses away. Good snag by Lindstrom, as that seems to be ticketed to the backstop. Ball 1.
Johnson had been quite efficient through the first 3 innings in his 37 pitches, and that's his first walk of the game issued.
Coming set is Johnson. Big lead off first base for Ward, being held on. Pitch misses just low, 2-0 the count. As Johnson there went to the breaking pitch, didn't get the call. Just broke a little too soon.
Second time through the lineup, it's going to be interesting to see these Great Britain hitters knowing that they're getting a breaking ball.
It has been a bit of a surprise so far that Sweden has been the more patient team. They have seen quite a few more pitches, nearly 20 more this stage in the game. Breaking ball nabs the outside corner, strike 1. From the way Singh took that pitch, it would appear he is sitting on a fastball with a hitter's count, 2-1. Of course, with Ben Johnson, that doesn't mean all that much. He'll throw you a curveball in any scenario.
Looking for something up. He's looking to see the ball up out of the air or something hanging.
Johnson sets. Ward is off and running. Pitch is in there for a strike. Throw down is not in time. Stolen base for Nick Ward. As the count runs to 2-2. That was a very nice pitch by Johnson, but because that pitch was so nice and moving so well, it was a bit harder for Backstrom to handle. And even though he popped up pretty quickly, the throw was just a hair late.
Catchers are so athletic, though, eh? Being able to sit back
Oh,
there,
for
waiting,
sure.
waiting, catch, go.
You've come on to a great point. We look at a player like Harry Ford, who is an incredible athlete, playing the catching position, where catcher used to be a guy who could handle the ball well, call a good game. Maybe not the most athletic, if we use some generous terms.
Runs always, the wind's always blowing in their direction when they're running.
It's very odd that. It seems to be universal, too, everywhere on Earth. It's so strange. Johnson's pitch is fouled off the top of the bat by Singh, down past the first base side, so the count remains 2-2. Good at-bat so far for Aaron Singh.
Singh had a great 4-year career for Redlands in the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Over 4 years, 333 hitter, 436 OBP, 511 slugging. Very patient hitter.
2-2 pitch coming. This is outside. Count runs full. Aaron Singh, one of the players who's parlayed a GB appearance into a professional contract, just as Nick Ward, standing at second base, did after the World Baseball Classic. Singh signed with the Schaumburg Boomers of the Frontier League after the 2021 games. And there was a moment in those 2021 games against Russia where he flipped a switch, made a great defensive play, and was on fire for the rest of the tournament. Pitch misses just low, and that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Johnson as he didn't get the call he wanted on the breaking ball. And now they're 2 on with no outs for Great Britain, with the powerful Chamoy Christopher coming to the plate. And Sweden will send their pitching coach out to talk to Johnson, if for no other reason than Johnson is quite upset with that call.
I think that's the perfect time to go for a mound visit. I was saying, even if that ball was way outside, now's the right time. He hasn't walked anyone. He goes back-to-back, tough at-bats, both of them, especially that one. Richter behind the dish has been pretty consistent with the bottom of the zone, but maybe slip it on a couple in there, and that's a good time to calm the young Ben Johnson down, as well as Backstrom.
Johnson, as I mentioned earlier, pretty stingy through 337, but 12 pitches thrown to the last 2 batters. And you were saying a moment ago, Chris, that it was a bit of a surprise coming into this that the young Swedish team had been significantly more patient. Well, Nick Ward and Aaron Singh, between them, have seen almost a third the number of pitches that all batters had seen through the first 3 innings. This could be the key to getting a hold of Johnson, who has worked pretty effectively thus far.
So 2 on, nobody out. Chamoy Christopher coming to the plate. I want to just reiterate something. Yes, Chamoy Christopher from the British Virgin Islands, as are a number of members of this team, along with, Chris Messer from the Cayman Islands. But every member of this Great Britain team has a passport. That is a requirement for this tournament, just as it is for every other team competing. It's an important part of what makes the European Games a little bit different, say, than the World Baseball Classic, which has a different eligibility requirement. But every single member of both of these rosters have nationality of the country they represent. And I just wanted to make that point because it's a very big difference compared to some other tournaments played. 1-0 the count from Johnson to Christopher. He misses outside. Ball 2. And now Chamoy Christopher has a hitter's count with 2 on and nobody out. This a big moment for Great Britain. Certainly their best opportunity so far in this one.
Yeah, you're going to need Ben Johnson to calm down a little bit here and just trust the fact that that breaking ball's been plus this whole game. Don't try and overspin it. Don't try and pull off too much. Just ride that shoulder down the line.
Coming set is Johnson. Or a short lead off second is fouled back. As just a hair late with Chamoy Christopher. That one hit off the top of the bat. 2-1 now, the count.
Sorry, pardon me. I was going to say, I think I'm speaking for all of us when I think we all expected curveball there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
I think Chamoy might have also expected.
I think so too, yeah.
A hair late on
it.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count. Runners at first and second base. Johnson delivers, and the pitch misses outside. Dropped down to the 3/4 arm slot. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Johnson clearly frustrated out there. The difference in this inning may very well be his ability to compose himself. He's pitched a heck of a game against a strong team. And now just simply has to keep doing what he's been doing already. He doesn't have to change the game plan.
This is fouled off at the plate. That'll run the count full. And we'll see how aggressive Great Britain opts to be here with the full count. We could see the runners off. Backstrom. I have hockey on the mind.
There you go.
Backstrom does have a decent arm behind the plate. We've seen him pop up quite quickly.
Here comes the 12th pitch from Johnson. He's thrown 11 straight curveballs.
The 3-2. This is lined softly foul up the first base line.
Still a great location. Don't let the big man get his hands extended on that pitch, or it goes for a ride, probably to right center. Get that thing down.
Christopher, a bit unusual. He has power from both sides of the plate. There's really no disadvantage when it comes to his batting. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Johnson, a long look in to get the sign. He gets the one he wants and comes to the set position. Big lead by Singh at first, a more conservative one over at second by Ward, who's being shadowed by the shortstop Polich. And down looking is Chamoy Christopher, as that pitch just froze him. 3rd strikeout for Johnson, as that was just over the outside corner.
I love that kind of energy from Backstrom back there. Just, yeah, baby, let's go. Come on, that's one pitch at a time, one out of a time. Here we go. Get us a ground ball now.
I'd like to see a more satisfied look than the one that the Swedish captain just gave his pitcher. But I think also a sense of vindication. You're saying to him, you've been doing what you have been doing, it's still working.
Ben Lead fouls that one down the right field line and out of play. Nothing had won the count. He went down looking in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning, coming off that incredible throw and catch.
That was a fastball, too. He was ready. He was late on it. It almost looked like it was reactionary. Oh, it's middle. Oh.
Well, with the number of curveballs that Johnson's been throwing, it almost is reactionary to see a fastball. If we were playing MLB The Show, the X button would be a curveball. Coming set is Johnson. The 0-1 misses and goes all the way to the backstop, and both runners will advance. A very wild pitch. And now 2 runners in scoring position for Great Britain. With 1 down, just as crucially, that erases the double play. And this is the biggest opportunity that either team has had to score in this game.
Yeah, somebody on the left side of that infield's going to have to make a play here. I imagine the third baseman will probably be halfway. Same with the shortstop. I'm not too familiar with the arms. I remember the shortstop, Polich had a nice arm across the infield, but surprised they're not playing in.
I am too. They are playing back. They will trade the run for the out. In a game that's been as close as it has, that is somewhat surprising. No action yet in either bullpen as this pitch is fouled back. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The breaking ball. Yeah, go to the well, man. Just keep going to the well.
Unexpected to see that wild throw from Johnson, who's really been locating pretty much where he's aiming. Although he did walk a couple guys at the top lane, it was not from wildness, more from just missing spots by a little bit, whereas that was way off. It would appear that the big strikeout has not really settled him down that much.
Coming set now is Johnson. He's fidgeting a bit, and a bit more than usual. The 1-2 misses inside and low to even the count.
He's got to keep that arm speed up. That arm speed's starting to slow down. He's getting on the side of that curveball and just looping it. You need to stay on top. Arm speed. Use those legs. You're slide stepping. Need to use your legs to get on top and your chest through.
60 pitches now for Johnson, so he's starting to get up there. He's had a rough inning so far. By my count, 18 pitches. He's only retired 1. He comes set now, again fidgeting. Now he delivers. Breaking ball is skied out towards halfway right field. In comes the right fielder Lindell. He makes the catch, tagging is Nick Ward. The throw is not in time, and Great Britain is on the board. A sacrifice fly for Ben Lead. And Great Britain will score the first run of this game. 1-0. GB has the lead.
As soon as Ben Johnson walked that leadoff batter, I think I said, leadoff batter walk. That's a tough one. And here he comes around to score.
Sim also able to advance to third base on that sacrifice fly as the throw came towards the plate. And now runner at third, 2 down, and Saunders at the plate. Sanders was caught stealing. He grounds this one right back to the pitcher. Getting a glove on it is Johnson. He will flip it underhand to first, and the side is retired. But Great Britain gets on the board first, and after 4 full innings of play, it is 1-0 Great Britain over Sweden here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Každý sval. Udrží Adam Ondra formu?
Poslouchej Sport. Radiožurnál Sport.
Vše o sportu na jednom místě. eSport.cz, sponzor pořadu.
Nothing. Great Britain leads Sweden as we head to the top half of the 5th inning. Austin Hassani back out. Now has a lead to protect. Great Britain managing to score the run there and doing small ball in order to pull it off. As it was the sacrifice fly by Ben Lead, who scored Nick Ward to break this scoreless deadlock. It's not been about the opportunities. So far, Sweden's had a couple opportunities with runners at second. They have failed to capitalize. Great Britain able to capitalize despite not having a hit since the first inning. And of course, that hit belonging to Nick Ward. Ford throws down, and that one ends up in center field a little bit. He has quite an arm, and sometimes doesn't know his own strength, I guess would be a nice way to put it.
Hold the phone, kid's got a cannon.
He sent that one into center field, and Mercer had to go track it down. Ball has been retrieved, and now Wahlberg, Lindell, and Johnson, the batters due up for Sweden, against Hassani. This will be Hassani's 3rd time through the order when Joel Johnson comes up to the plate. So it'll be interesting to see how Sweden approaches their 3rd at-bat. There is some stirring in the Great Britain bullpen, but no one throwing just yet. Hassani misses high and inside to Wahlberg, ball 1. And interesting that he decided to start off with a high inside fastball that had a little extra zip.
Gas up the kids, man. Gotta gas them up.
Hassani delivers the 1-0 in there for a strike, 1-1 the count.
In this current situation, perfect world, Wahlberg gets on, they bunt him over.
I think that's exactly what would happen. The 1-1, the check swing, he did not go, says the first base umpire, Alex Lazar. Now runs 2 balls and a strike. Wahlberg singled in the 2nd inning, and it was on that single that Lead threw out. Daniel Johnson swung on and missed, and the count now 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was the 71st pitch of the game for Hassani.
It was nasty.
Just looking at the replay in our booth now, that had incredible movement as he misses here to run the count full.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff right there that's going to get him out for another inning. If he can throw that righty changeup like that, it's such an undervalued pitch.
There is action now in the Sweden bullpen. We can't see who it is, but there is throwing. So interesting. Ben Johnson hasn't thrown too many pitches. This is grounded to second. A little bit of a high throw from Singh, but Sanders handles it. And that is out number 1. I would wonder if it was because Johnson got rattled last inning that they're keeping some backup for him. Sweden has kept this game perhaps closer than some would think through the first few innings. They played a very good game grinding out their at-bats, but they need to keep it close for as long as possible in order to have a chance to beat a team that is ranked 19 places higher than them in the world rankings and 6 places higher in Europe.
I'd say the confidence that would gain would be off the charts.
0-1 pitch from Hassani's popped out towards shallow right field, calling everybody off his sing. He travels into foul territory and makes the catch. That is out number 2. 2 quick outs for Austin Hassani. He's done that in a couple of innings. Now comes the real test to see if he's settled down in this game, if he can get out of this inning without any damage or without laboring too hard through these final at-bats, as he now faces the order for the 3rd time. And Joel Johnson, who's so far popped out to short and lined out to 3rd.
8 pitches thus far in the inning for Hassani.
Johnson lined out on a 2-0 pitch in the 3rd and popped out on a 1-1 pitch in the 1st.
Yeah, this is a nightmare scenario here for Joel Johnson. He's throwing everything for strikes right now.
The 0-2 pitch hits him right between the numbers, the 2 and the 1 on the jersey. And again with 2 outs, Hassani cannot shut the door and keep Sweden off the base path. So with 2 down, Johnson heads on to first base. Both batters have been hit unintentionally with breaking balls. Nothing untoward to see. But we'll see now if Hassani can work around the hit batter as Pruitt comes to the plate. Pruitt doubled in his last at-bat. 1 for 2 on the day. Hassani delivers. Fastball just misses off the plate. Ball 1.
The hit batter now makes 5 consecutive innings in which Sweden has had a runner aboard, meaning that Hassani has yet to go 1, 2, 3 at any point in this game.
Hassani comes set. Does not check the runner, who's off and running. Pitch is in there for a strike. Harry Ford can't get a handle on it right away. That'll be a stolen base for Joel Johnson. First steal of the day for Sweden. They've got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs yet again.
That's just great base running right there. Just taking advantage of a guy not peeking over the one time he doesn't peek over. Yeah, we're going. We're taking this bag. It's huge.
That ball was spinning so much that it was still spinning in Ford's hand, hence he opted to just hold on to it. I can't help but think him throwing the ball into center field at the end of warm-ups this inning might have also played a factor, particularly with that being a difficult ball to handle. Now Ford coordinating with the GB dugout. Bench coaches Brad Marcelino, Jonathan Cramer over there. Gives the sign to Hassani now with a runner at second base.
Huge pitch right now. 1-1 count is going to win the count.
Hassani delivers, and it's chopped foul back to the backstop. Hassani 1 strike away from getting out of this.
Another righty changeup at the bottom of the zone in the inner half. That's very good.
Hassani stares in, gets the sign, comes set by the belt, raises the glove and delivers. Swung on and missed, and that will retire the side. So again with 2 outs, Sweden gets a base runner, and again with 2 outs, Hassani works around it. We're through 4.5 games. This one's now official. 1-0 Great Britain after 4.5 here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Sdílených aut Car for Way k půjčení v ulicích Prahy a Brna. Stačí ti k tomu jenom mobil. To je Car for Way Car Sharing, sponzor pořadu.
Kraj Vysočina. Každému sportovci na dosah.
Čeští baseballisté budou od neděle 24. září bojovat na domácí půdě o titul mistrů Evropy.
Makat a nedívat se na všechny kolem sebe.
ten baseball u nás není tak známý. A normálně jsem jako fakt hrdý a žasný.
Všechny české zápasy a vyvrcholení turnaje můžete sledovat živě na ČT Sport a ČT Sport Plus.
Bottom half of the fifth inning, as Great Britain has a 1-0 lead. It will be Flaherty, Dawson, and Mercer, the bottom third of the lineup. As Ben Johnson back out for the fifth inning of work. Infield drag also taking place during this half inning.
We have updates from around the European Baseball Championship. Netherlands have jumped all over France, 5-0 lead. Similarly, the German national team 7-0 over Belgium. Both of those games rapidly getting out of hand, but still plenty of time left. Czechs jumping to a 4-0 lead through 3 innings against rivals and neighbors Austria.
The score here, 1-0 to the Lions, as Great Britain again will bat here in the fifth, scoring their first run of the game on the sacrifice fly by Ben Lead. The last half inning. So we have a little bit of a longer delay here while the infield is repaired by the excellent grounds crew here. While we have that moment, I was going to tee you up there, Ryan, but please go ahead.
I was about the field crew, man. I was just going to say Gregor's got his minions out there working. Clean up the field, taking care of everything like that, making sure it's tip-top and in European Championship quality.
It is a beautiful facility. In fact, the facilities we've seen so far on the Great Britain side, in Prague, the Eagle Stadium, and here in Trebic have been beautiful. And we're looking forward to seeing whichever stadium comes next. Of course, that will entirely depend on who will play. In steps Flaherty. He struck out in his first at-bat. Second at-bat of his senior national team career. And the first pitch from Johnson is over the inside corner with the breaking ball for a strike.
Flaherty has played a role for the Mets over the London Mets, I should say, over the past few years as the Mets add to their streak of national championships.
Pitch misses well outside, 1-1 the count.
Flaherty has appeared for them not only in limited at-bats in National League play around his university-level schedule, but also at the Federation Cup, which the Mets won in 2022, becoming the first British team to ever win a European Cup competition.
1-1 pitch misses, called a strike over the inside part of the plate, as that just nabbed the inside. Count now 1-2 strikes. As Gabriel mentioned, the London Mets, one of the dominant teams in the National Baseball League back in Britain. 7-time reigning and defending national championships. In fact, won their latest national championship just about a month ago in a 3-game series against their in-stadium rival, let's call it, the London Capitals. Count now 2-2 strikes. That pitch missing down low. A lot of London Mets connections with this team, this Great Britain team. In the lineup today, Lead, Michael Flaherty, Ray Mercer, as well as a number of coaches. Drew Spencer, Jonathan Crammond, and Derek Cook, the bullpen catcher as well. Count runs full, 3-2 strikes, as again the breaking ball doesn't find the zone.
I was going to say, I even have a friend of mine that played for the Mets as well. Andy Cosgrove was there. It was last year.
Yes, it was.
Many of you will have joined us a couple of weeks ago for the National Baseball Championship. Chris and I, that is, and tuning in again today. Great to have you along, whether you're listening from Britain, somewhere else in Europe, somewhere in the US, or indeed anywhere around the world.
Indeed, thank you for joining us here on today's broadcast on BaseballEurope.tv and for purchasing a tournament pack. Your support of European baseball is very much appreciated. Payoff pitch coming from Johnson here, and it is chopped just foul down the third base line, fielded by the third baseman, also Johnson, but just a hair on the wrong side of the line.
Johnson connection right there. Something else.
They certainly are the backbone for this Swedish team. Correction from a fan writing in, we appreciate that. It was 2022, the Mets did not win the Federation Cup qualifier this year.
That from longtime European and British umpire John Baxendale, as that pitch misses low and in the dirt. Leadoff runner aboard again for Great Britain, and again by way of the free pass. That's the third free pass in 2 innings issued by Johnson. We'll see how patient Sweden is with him as the action continues in their bullpen. As I just mentioned, John Baxendale, a longtime umpire in Europe and in Britain. Viewers at home will recognize him, however, as a Spice Girl at the World Baseball Classic. And I've heard a rumor, I cannot confirm this rumor, as this is grounded towards third. Up with it, the third baseman fires to the second baseman, Wahlberg, and over to first, but they won't get the double play. So a fielder's choice grounded into by the speedy Dawson. He will reach, and Flaherty is retired for the first out. There has been a rumor that Mr. Baxendale and his partner, Mr. Blees, partner in crime, I should say, will be joining us later on this week in their finest regalia. That does not mean the Spice Girls, however. So 1 down, runner at first base. Ray Mercer at the plate. I would not be surprised to see a bunt here as Johnson delivers using the slide step. Instead, it's grounded right back up the middle. Fielded nicely by Polish, the shortstop, and the throw is not in time. Kennard Dawson is quite quick, and Mercer and Dawson both safe as he just got the foot in there. Swedish manager Reimer is a couple steps out of the dugout and issuing his disagreements, as now Harry Ford will bat with 2 on and 1 down, and this is the scenario that Great Britain would have dreamt up when it comes to run production.
Although the play did not result in an out, I think we can both agree that was a heck of a throw by Tom Polish to remain on his feet while ranging behind second base, throwing an absolute strike. Normally, that play when pulling behind second is kind of looped into second, but that was a bullet straight in. A bit unlucky there for the Swedes.
First pitch is over the inside corner for a called strike.
This left side of the infield for the Swedes have played solid defense. There's been a couple plays now, specifically early in the game, where the third baseman was ranging back in the corner that threw to the second baseman. I thought that was when things were going to get crazy.
That hit by Mercer, by the way, the first hit for Great Britain since Nick Ward's in the first inning, only their second hit of the game. Count now 1 ball and 1 strike to Ford as the pitch misses. Both runners dancing off. Normally, with these 2 runners on, you would see a small ball scenario. That is, if Harry Ford weren't at the plate. His longest home run during the World Baseball Classic qualifiers came against Spain. Hit about 450 feet to dead center, 4th inning, and he kicked off the comeback. So Great Britain qualified for the Classic in that game in the 10th inning on a walk-off sacrifice fly by Alex Crosby. He was also a member of this roster. Crosby, in fact, was the captain of Great Britain at the World Baseball Classic. Johnson stares in. Time called back in by the home plate umpire Vladimir Richter. Coming set now, Johnson. Ford waiting at the plate. Short lead for Dawson and a medium lead for Mercer at first. And that breaking pitch misses in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike at the 75th pitch of the outing. For Ben Johnson. Now we'll see how long he stays out there. Action in the Swedish bullpen. It's just long toss at this stage, no catcher in gear. See if that changes. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Johnson delivers. Chopped off the plate foul to even things up.
Seems that the Swedes are actually in a very tight, maybe a peculiar position. Like, do you go after it, or do you throw guys you want to, you're okay with burning right now, saving arms for later? It's a very peculiar position.
It is true, and Sweden, as the third-ranked team in this pool, is in a bit of an awkward position. The only team ranked lower is Hungary, ranked 47th in the world coming into this tournament, their first European tournament. Also Great Britain's opponent tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Central European Time, 10 a.m. in Britain. This is lined out towards left center field. Into the gap it goes. Coming around to score is Kennard Dawson. Being held at third is Mercer as the throw comes in quickly. Now they've got the runner, Harry Ford, in a rundown. The throw comes to first. He nearly falls over. Meanwhile, Mercer will score. Down goes Harry Ford, and he doesn't dodge the tag there. Almost pulled a Matrix-style bullet time move, but instead he will be retired in the rundown. 2 runs come across to score, and it is 3-0 Great Britain on the RBI single by Harry Ford.
A great piece of hitting right there. Stayed on that breaking ball and just sailed it into left center field. I mean, very patient. Was seeing the ball down very well. Finally got him one. Finally got himself one that was up in the zone. He could do some damage with, and look at that, paid off. 2 runs scoring on that.
The out from what I believe was 8 to 6 to 3, center to short to first base. The tag then applied, so nobody on now, but 2 runs home for Great Britain as Dawson and Mercer scoring, and that brings Nick Ward back to the plate. He scored the first run for GB, first run of this game, and he sends a charge into this one out towards right field. It will die a little bit about right center field. Camping under it, the right fielder Lindell, and the side is retired. 2 runs for Great Britain on the 2-run single by Harry Ford. And after 5 full innings of play, Great Britain 3, Sweden 0, here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Na Shootflixu můžeš jednoduše stavět.
Stares. Pečujeme o brněnská sportoviště.
Česká baseballová asociace srdečně děkuje všem svým partnerům za podporu Eurobaseballu 2023 v České republice.
Top half of the 6th inning, 3-0. Great Britain has the lead. And we have a new pitcher on the hill as Austin Hassani is done for the day. He leaves with the 3-0 lead and the win intact as Alex Webb, the ERA leader at the 2021 European Championships, will take over on the mound. A bit of a surprise here up in the booth, as Webb, normally a starter for Great Britain. He may just be getting some work in, as he does not play professionally at this moment. But we'll see how it goes, as Gabriel, you have Hassani's final line.
5 innings by Britain's starter, 4 hits surrendered, only 1 walk. Of course, the crucial number is 0 runs, 0 earned runs, and he added 4 Ks. It was a bit of a workman-like 5 shutout innings. I don't think any of us were blown away, but on the other hand, hard to argue with the results. He certainly had plenty to do with that number rather than being lucky out there. It's a solid 5-inning start. Good to see that on day 1.
Now Alex Webb on the hill. He was the Game 1 starter of the last European Championships for Great Britain, starting the win against France for GB. And his first pitch is a fastball, foul tipped into Harry Ford's mitt. And that will be strike one as he faces Backstrom, Pollich, and Johnson, the 3-4-5 hitters in the lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why Webb was brought in, not just to get some work, but also to bring that fastball to bear against the middle part of the order. We've been seeing a lot of sliders from Hassani.
Yeah, and you saw Backstrom I don't think Backstrom's been cheated once this game at the plate. He came out knowing he's going to get the heater, and he took a big ol' hack on that thing.
He absolutely did. Backstrom so far in this one, 0 for 1 with a walk, but he has probably seen, actually not probably, he has seen the most pitches of any batter today. By my count, 17 Austin Hassani pitches. Webb hits the inside corner for strike two. First two pitches are well-located fastballs. Not nibbling by any means. Webb will use that two-seamer for sure. And this time he goes to the outside, but misses away, ball one.
In addition to his GB accolades, Webb had a nice amateur career for the University of British Columbia, where he was named NAIA West Pitcher of the Year and then drafted by the Cincinnati Reds in the 2016 draft.
Pitch over the outside corner. Checking his swing is Lindstrom. He did not go, so it is ball two. So he's able to hold the count back even.
That boy went to UBC. I'll tell you what, he lived La Vida Loca out there. That is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever seen.
One of the two UBC players. The other is Tyler Sharples. Webb goes back to the fastball, and it's a good one. Swinging and missing is Lindstrom. That is the first strikeout for Webb. And the fifth Swedish strikeout of the day. That is out number one here in the sixth.
Don't think he expected back-to-back curveballs there. I thought I saw top-bottom movement on that, but yeah, just overpowered him right there. Here it is, hit it.
So one down for Webb as Pollich, the shortstop, comes to the plate, singled in his last at-bat. 1 for 2 on the day, and takes the first pitch low and away for ball one.
Webb spent 3 years in the minor league in the Reds system. Had a 4.82 ERA in that time, advanced as high as high A Daytona in 2018.
Reds organization, no stranger to Great Britain players. Ian Gibbo, who closed out the first GB win in World Baseball Classic history, member of the Reds, as is prospect Donovan Benoit. A few Reds connections for the team wearing red. This one grounded towards the middle, overranging to his left is Ward. He fires to first, and that is out number two. Good defensive work by Great Britain, and 2 quick outs here for Alex Webb.
Well, the left side of the infield for both teams are putting on a clinic today. That was beautiful footwork up the middle there. Casually keeping the arm slot low when he fielded it. Yeah, just watching shortstops do athletic things is always fun.
Ward, a very athletic player. Athletic enough to play outside his, let's say, size disadvantage over at first base. As the first pitch in there for a strike. That first base play coming in the World Baseball Classic. Daniel Johnson at the plate now. He's doubled and struck out. The 0-1 from Webb, who's working a bit faster than Hassani did. This is low and away. 1-1 the count. Neither pitcher quite economical in their first inning of work. Webb up to 10 pitches. The count 1-1 here and 2 down. But he is working quickly and delivers a strike over the outside.
Johnson thus far today had the double to left center field, which he eked out and then was thrown out at the plate by Ben Lead.
This is a check swing. He does go around. Harry Ford will fire over to first, and that is the first 1-2-3 inning that Great Britain has had. 2 strikeouts for Alex Webb, and we head to the bottom half of the 6th. 3-0, Great Britain has the lead here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Dosažením svého cíle můžete plnit sny i ostatním. Stačí si stáhnout aplikaci App Pomáhej pohybem od skupiny ČES.
Kde je voda, tam je život.
Kde je kyslík, tak se dýchá.
Nastartuj smysly!
Bottom half of the sixth inning, 3-0. Great Britain has the lead over Sweden. As a new pitcher on the hill for Sweden, one of the few left-handers in this, well, between either roster, I should say, as Pargas, single left-handed pitcher on the Swedish roster, will enter the game in relief of Ben Johnson. Bringing you Ben Johnson's final line is Gabriel Fiedler.
Johnson goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And I think if before the game someone had told us Johnson's going to go out there for 5 innings, only give up 3 runs and 3 hits, I think we would have said, boy, that's a great game. On the other hand, it feels almost like it's a worse line than you'd expect, because he looked better than 3 runs and 5 innings out there. Regardless, I think that Reiner, the Swedish head coach, has to be pleased with the effort he put in, even with getting a little bit rattled. It was a strong performance.
First pitch to Aaron Singh. This is off the plate, ball 1. All 3 batters this inning will be right-handers. Shimoy Christopher will be turned around to bat from that right side. 1-0 pitch. Just misses off the plate, 1-1 the count.
Singh grounded into a fielder's
2-0, excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Gabriel. The count is 2-0.
Singh grounded into a fielder's choice in the first, walked in the fourth.
Coming set is Pargas. He delivers, misses high. 3 balls, no strikes. The last 2 innings for Sweden have started with walks. They have also led to runs. And as Ryan very almost freakishly predicted, walks lead to problems, and so far, with every walk that Sweden's issued, they've run into trouble, and they just have done it again as Pargas walks Singh, who's on base for the 3rd time today. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first, and has reached on 2 walks in the 4th, and now the 6th.
Well, I'm glad you brought up walks, as that's a good transition to Moises Pargas' numbers this year for the Leksand Lumberjacks. He has a 6.35 ERA.
Comes to the set, a short lead for Aaron Singh, particularly with a left-hander throwing. And this pitch is in there for a strike, so Pargas is able to come back and even the count. First strike so far is issued.
Yeah, these patient Great Britain hitters, it'll be interesting if Pargas is able to flip in a breaker at this point. Otherwise, it's dead red fastball, find something of his own, let it rip.
Pargas very nearly throws that to the backstop. It's a nice backhanded stop by Backstrom, which sounds like something I'm quite honest.
Yeah, man, you gotta love the amount of effort that Backstrom's been putting in this whole game. Just been, like a classic field commander back there, right? Sacrifice the body.
Absolutely. He's been quite impressive from our standpoint throughout this game. The 2-1 pitch is inside corner for a strike to even the count at 2-2.
Backstrom featured at the 2009 European Development Tournament before the London Series in a surprisingly large Swedish contingent. Repeated again this year before the London Series, though not with quite as many players. Off the top of my head, I think Sweden got 6 to that tournament, selected by MLB officials, and Backstrom was leader among them.
Count runs full to Shimoy Christopher, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Then lead waiting on deck. He's secured the first GB run with a sacrifice fly to right. Nick Ward in the fourth.
Gonna need Pargas to make an adjustment here. Luckily, everything's just been up. Up, arm side. So I would say it's typically one of the easier adjustments to make. If it's consistently in the same place, it's an easier adjustment.
Payoff pitch coming from Pargas. This is chopped back up the middle. Ranging over is the second baseman, Wahlberg. He fires to first, and Sweden is able to turn a crucial double play. Second to first.
A double play several times in this game, finally getting one, and throws over to first in time.
Ben lead now. 0 for 1 with that sacrifice fly. Takes a strike over the inside part of the plate. 0-1 as Pargas has clamped down on some of the wildness through his last 4 or 5 pitches. The 0-1. Breaking pitch, and it just misses low to even the count.
Yeah, and I think that was actually probably a little make-up call for that first pitch fastball that he saw for a strike, because that was a beautiful curveball.
You may be wondering, well, the Swedish infield, everyone's very pleased with the efforts. What about the outfield? Here's the grand total of balls hit to the outfield for outs in this game. And I'll tell you after Chris calls that pitch.
That's fouled back to the right field side now to play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
1 ball has been caught in the outfield today by Sweden. It was Ben Leeds' sacrifice fly 2 innings ago. That is the only ball to leave the infield not via the hit. So when we talk about how good the infield has been, it has produced a significant proportion of the outs, all but 3 strikeouts and that sac fly.
The 1-2 pitch from Pargas. This is sent out towards right field. Backing up is Lindahl. He will make the catch on the warning track, and that will retire the side. Lead gave that one a ride, but it ends up being a 1-2-3 inning as Pargas is able to work around the walk with the double play. We're through 6. The score 3-0. Great Britain over Sweden here on BaseballEurope.tv.
Asociace srdečně děkuje všem svým partnerům za podporu Eurobaseballu 2023 v České republice. Suma Information Technology. Česká baseballová asociace srdečně děkuje všem svým partnerům za podporu Eurobaseballu 2023 v České republice.
Of the 7th inning. Great Britain with a 3-0 lead over Sweden. Alex Webb out for his 2nd inning of work. He worked a 1-2-3 frame in the 6th with a pair of strikeouts. They'll now face the 6, 7, and 8 batters. Gasler will lead things off, the designated hitter.
0 for 2 thus far today, 2 strikeouts. As you see, the scores posted on the screen. Germany extending its lead 10-1 over Belgium. Netherlands and France maintaining that 5-0 advantage in the Dutch favor, and Czech still up 4 over Austria, so not a lot of change thus far. It's a pinch hitter at the plate.
Indeed, left-handed hitter coming to bat. We will find out who that is as we can. It is Albin Kat. Left-handed hitter. He will pinch hit here.
When I was asking for pronunciations before the game, I can generally pronounce a bit of Swedish thanks to some heritage in my family. And I looked at Leo Backstrom before the game, and I said, how do you pronounce these names? And when I got to this player, he looked at me and laughed. And he said, well, it's sort of like what you call the people who live in this country. It's pronounced like Czech. even though it is written K, A with an umlaut, C, K. But he said, don't worry too much about it. If you say Czech or something like that, it's fine. And he insisted they will be very forgiving about it.
Well, the 1-2 pitch is popped up on the infield. Out comes Harry Ford from behind the dish. He will make the catch himself. And however you pronounce his name, it can be Cat, it can be however you'd like. He is out. The pop out to catcher.
See, I don't know if I was just hungry or something, but when I heard you pronouncing his name, I could have swore he said cake. So like I was thinking, I recognize that last name. It's Cake, and I'm glad I didn't say anything because the eyes I would have got from you guys would be funny.
So that brings up Jerfston. Oscar batting for the third time today. 2 pop-outs, 1 to second, 1 to short. And he'll pop this one straight up. Into foul territory again goes Harry Ford. He'll make the catch. Harry Ford, 2 back-to-back pop-outs in foul territory. And that's 2 quick outs. Alex Webb has been ruthlessly efficient since entering this game.
Yeah, it looks like the Swedish hitters are just not ready to catch up with that fastball, especially Mr. Cake coming in there. I know it's not Cake, it's Czech.
Yeah.
But I mean, Czech, but you saw he was blown away with that first pitch fastball.
So 2 down in the inning. Wahlberg now up. The second baseman, 1 for 2 with a single. He has faced a full count in both of his at-bats, and he takes the first pitch for a ball.
Lined a single to right in the second, grounded to second in the fifth inning.
1-0. His grounder right back up the middle. That will make center field despite the dive by Aaron Singh. Good hustle play by him. And with 2 down, Sweden will again extend the inning. This is the first time against Alex Webb. Through 6 full innings so far, Sweden has left 5 batters on. Great Britain, meanwhile, has scored 3 runs and has left on 2. It has been about converting opportunities. So far, Great Britain has prevented Sweden from converting theirs, and they've managed to take advantage of Sweden's very slight miscues, the 3 passes. First pitch from Webb, bunted foul off the plate by Lindell. That will be strike 1. Not hugely surprised to see them try a bunt here with a runner on and 2 down.
I think that's the right move, especially he hasn't particularly done much. I mean, with the fly out to left field and the fly out to second baseman. I think why not try and catch the defense sleeping a little bit over at third base.
Webb comes set, short lead for the runner over at first base. Again the bunt, and again it goes foul off the plate. Quickly down in a hole is Lindell. And now he'll have to swing away.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right move in that situation. You try it one time, and then they're ready for it the second time, especially with a guy like Ford behind the dish. You got to put that thing perfect. Basically, making him expect it to be rolling foul. Otherwise, he's throwing you out.
And to execute it the exact same way in 2 consecutive pitches is quite easy for a defense to deal with. This is off the end of the bat, grounded back towards the pitcher Webb. He'll underhand it to Sanders, and that will retire the side. Sweden has stranded 6 runners through 7, and it's time to stretch in Trebich. The score 3-0. Great Britain over Sweden on BaseballEurope.tv.
Pomáhej, starší! A nepovyšuj se nad mixér.
Odchází vám stroje? Neplačte. V Bauhausu na ně máme 5letou záruku.
Tyhle kluci něco dokázali. Já jsem rád, že prostě je budu moct tady sledovat.
My máme svou cestu tady v Evropě, v Česku.
Na mistrovství Evropy si s týmem věříme.
Oni v sobě mají tak obrovský talent.
Protože máme mladý tým, ale zároveň jsou to všichni kluci, kteří mají zkušenosti z Ameriky.
24. září začíná mistrovství Evropy v baseballu v Ostravě a Brně. Držím palce, přijďte fandit, Honza Železný.
of the 7th inning here in Trevic. The score 3-0 Great Britain over Sweden. Vargas back out on the mound for Sweden as the left-hander worked in and out of trouble thanks to a double play in the 6th. He will face Sanders, Flaherty, and Dawson, 6, 7, and 8 for Great Britain. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Great Britain holding that lead, certainly looking for insurance runs as there is action, or no, excuse me, there was action in the Great Britain bullpen, and indeed it is Joseph King warming up, the Cardinals prospect, member of the World Baseball Classic roster as well. Vargas kicks and deals, first pitch to Sanders, fouled back.
Sanders has certainly seen 4 pitches thus far in the game, drawing a hit by pitch in the 2nd, and then on the first pitch in the 4th, grounding out to the pitcher for the last out of that frame, which means I haven't had a chance to talk about him at all, and he has some pretty impressive accolades, which I'll tell you about in a moment.
Breaking pitch misses up, and that'll leave the count at 1.
This year, in addition to earning SCIAC, that's Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Athlete of the Year Award, he was first team All-Region and third team Academic All-American, but that honor requires a combination of academics and athletics. So this is a hitter who had multiple awards. In fact, there are several others I've not even listed, and the numbers that go along with those are equally as impressive. I'll tell you about those after this next pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count as Vargas comes to the set position. He delivers and misses outside. That evens things up at 2.
Playing for Claremont Mud Scripps, the Stags, in his 3rd season, he hit .398, had a .452 on base percentage, and slugged .795. Impressive numbers at any level. This coming at the NCAA Division III level.
Vargas misses up and in, and that will run the count full. Flaherty waiting on deck. He is 0 for 1 with a walk today. Stepping back in is Sanders. Vargas delivers and misses low. Again, a leadoff walk issued by Sweden. 2nd inning for Vargas, 2nd leadoff walk issued by him. In fact, that is the 4th consecutive inning that Sweden has issued a leadoff free pass.
Yeah, that'll be the conversation after this game, regardless win or loss. Hey, we need to minimize leadoff batter walks. Like, you can walk them, but just get the out first. It sounds easier said than done, obviously, but yeah, it's a killer.
Sanders with a sizable lead off first. Vargas will check in as a left-handed pitcher. It's a little bit easier for him to do so. Showing bunt is Flaherty. He pulls the bat back, and it's ball 1 as the pitch misses high and away.
Flaherty yet to put the ball in play in his 2 at-bats, striking out once and walking once. However, he has worked the account very, very deep. 7 pitches in his first at-bat, 8 in his 2nd. So it'll be interesting to see whether he is asked here to bunt or whether he takes it deep.
1-0 pitch misses high and tight. And now Vargas has fallen behind Flaherty. The 2-0 count. And in light of what Gabriel has just told us all about Flaherty's season, or Sanders' season, I should say, we could see something here. Flaherty has also had a spectacular season himself. 2-0 pitch coming from Vargas as he kicks and deals, doesn't check the runner, and misses high. 3-0.
Well, a guy who walks guys consistently is such a wild card, you know, because most guys, if they walk back-to-back batters, they're a little shocked from it, or, you know, just a little upset, maybe a little rattled. But guys who walk guys all the time, it's like, all right, bring the next guy, bring the next guy.
It's a 3-0 pitch coming from Vargas. His action continues in the Swedish bullpen, and a 4-pitch free pass issued. And now Great Britain has a chance to, well, it feels like it would put the game away, but really it's just score some insurance runs. It's just such a gulf in how the teams have converted their opportunities right now that it feels like a much bigger lead for GB, particularly with them batting here, and Dawson about to bat with 2 on and no out.
Yeah, great opportunity for Dawson here. I see a ball that's in the zone, but again, 4 straight. I see him taking another pitch here, taking that first strike.
We'll see soon enough as Vargas delivers, showing bunt is Dawson. He pulls the bat back but takes a strike. Not a bad shout there. To see how the infield would react, and indeed charging in from third was Daniel Johnson of Sweden. Vargas comes set, checks the runner at second, being shadowed by both the shortstop and second baseman. And this is lined out to left field on a hop. That's a base hit. Being waved around is Saunders. He will score. It's an RBI single for Kennard Dawson, and it is 4-0, Great Britain.
Great piece of hitting right there again.